underwriting guide and product guide. It's a PDF in the handout section of that toolbar on the right-hand side of your screen. Feel free, you can just grab it and drag it and over to your desktop and save it for your reference. It is in the new, also contained in the new version of the illustration software, version 3.15, I believe, or 3.50, can't remember, but there is a new version of the software out that contains the new guide. We have them in hard copy here as well. So the idea behind today's call was just to take a step back and walk through a few things that the Mutual of Omaha policy has to offer your clients and your potential clients that no other policy can. And sometimes you, in the day-to-day activities, you kind of overlook and take some things for granted, and sometimes actually forget some of the capabilities of the mutual offering and the flexibility of the design itself. But first and foremost, the strength of the company behind the whole program is key to your success. And you couldn't have a stronger business partner in working with Mutual of Omaha right now. They were just reassured of all their financial ratings. They just updated their strong, stable, and secure brochure this past summer. And we have those here in hard copy. We also have PDFs of these as well that we'd be happy to email you. So just give us a call after the webinar and we can get you all supplied up. All right, let's see. So why the Mutual of Omaha Custom Solutions? Well, from our standpoint, it's not so much important about what it can do when you buy it as what it can do when you need to use it. And we think that the claim time benefits of the design of the mutual policy are by far superior to anything else offered in the marketplace. It does afford your clients the most flexibility as far as how they want to receive their benefits at claim time. Remember that there's a built-in cash benefit that can be used for anything they wish to pay for. There's no accounting for how that money is spent. Or they can incur expenses through covered services and submit those bills to get reimbursed up to their maximum monthly benefit. Again, the policyholder is in complete control. Remember also that there's an independent caregiver benefit available in the policy itself. It's in black and white of the contract. They can private hire somebody as long as that individual is either certified and or licensed in the state where the service is being delivered for the level of care that is outlined in the plan of care. So for our discussion purposes today, we're going to use the example of a married couple, both age 60 at a select rate or standard, and they have purchased a $5,000 monthly benefit, a $180,000 pool of money, basically a 3-year plan with 3% compound lifetime inflation, no additional riders. So they have a combined premium of just north of $4,300 a year. Some things you maybe did not know is that you can not only buy up on the inflation rider, but you can also buy down on the inflation rider as well. And you can use this strategically. I'm going to show you an example of how this can be used. We have a male age 50 who bought a policy with 5% compound, $5,000 a month, $200,000 pool, started off with a $5,000 cash benefit. It has a premium of just under $4,000 a year at a standard rate. And if that person qualified for preferred, that would be about $3,300 per year. He retires at age 67. So after 17 years of growth at 5% compound inflation, his monthly benefit has now grown to just under $11,500. He's got well north of $450,000 in the pool of money, and the cash benefit has grown to basically $4,600 a month. So on his on the policy anniversary, when he turns 67, he contacts Mutual of Omaha and requests to reduce his inflation to 2%. And whenever you make a reduction in benefits like this, the premium he's going to be paying for that is based upon age 50, not age 67. He keeps all the growth he paid for over those first 17 years of owning the policy, and now the policy will continue to grow, but at 2% versus the 5%. He has more than reduced his premium in half. If you use a select rate, his premium will go down from $4,000 a year down to approximately $1,600. If he was rated preferred, it would drop almost $2,000 a year less than what he was paying previously. So that's pretty significant savings to make it easier when they're in their retirement year. So keep that in mind as another way to potentially approach the use of inflation and how you can take advantage of not only the buy up feature of the inflation, but also the buy down feature of the inflation. And the buy down feature does not have any caps as far as when that offer goes away. If you recall correctly, on the buy up feature, that's good for 20 years or age 75, whichever comes first. The buy down feature can happen whenever the applicant wishes or the policyholder wishes to do so. There's no cap on when that expires. Keep in mind that with the custom solutions package versus the secure package, you have flexibility of anywhere from 1 to 5% compound in 1/4 point increments, so you can really dial in a premium that makes sense. Again, remember that there's no additional underwriting if they wish to purchase more inflation in the future. Say, for example, they start off at 1% and their financial picture changes in a few years and they wish to upgrade it to 3%. They can do so on their policy anniversary, no additional underwriting. And what they'll do is they'll pay an attained age rate for the new configuration, and there's some dollar credits that are thrown in there based upon their original age. So it's a fairly inexpensive way to do it. And like I said, they can exercise that option every year on their policy anniversary. They have to be proactive about doing it. The company is not going to notify them that they're coming up on their anniversary. And oh, by the way, do you want to make a move to increase your inflation? It'd probably be more up to you if you sit down with your clients on an annual basis and kind of review the different insurance policies you have placed with them. You can give them the friendly reminder at that time that they have an anniversary coming up, and they should, if they wanted to consider increasing their inflation, now would be the time to do so. Based upon the age of the applicant, don't forget those caps. You can cap the growth at 10, 15, or 20 years on that anywhere from 1 to 5% compound as well. So if you're working with people in their mid-60s, you might want to consider looking at the 20-year. If you're looking with people pushing 70, you might want to look at the 15-year cap. People into their 70s, they still need inflation protection, but lifetime compound might be out of reach. So look at that 10-year cap as well, just to kind of keep the premiums realistic. So again, downgrades can be used strategically along the way. It's a different way in which you could approach the sale of a policy, kind of like front loading it with heavy on the inflation and then proposing that at some point in time when they decide to relax and retire, they could potentially do that downgrade like I gave you an example. Upgrades, the right place at the right time, that buy-up feature with the inflation rider. Maybe their financial picture changes in the future. They get kids out of college or whatever, and they can afford to put a little more money toward their own protection in the future. They could upgrade their inflation at that time. And then again, you can make the use of the caps to kind of save quite a bit on the premium side as well. So just to reiterate one more time that the use of the caps makes sense at the appropriate age. And if you're in the senior market already, like maybe you're primarily focused on Medicare supplements, you have a steady stream of clients that are north of 65, this would be a good argument to, if you haven't talked with them about long-term care, you now have a strong offering to chat with them about as far as ways to keep premium realistic, even though they're buying at a more senior age. And we used to have, and we still do have, a PowerPoint presentation on the core policy itself that shows a very busy table of the various premiums from 5% lifetime compound all the way down to 1% capped at 10 years. Just one example here, going back to the original configuration of a $5,000 monthly benefit, $180,000 pool of money with 3% lifetime compound. And that was about $3,900 for the couple. If you were to take and cap that 3% lifetime and cap it at 20 years, you save about $650 a year by making that move. Again, so what we've shown you so far is downgrades can be used strategically to help you position a good, strong long-term care policy with making another financial decision when that person's ready to pull the plug and relax for a little while and retire. Upgrades have the right time and the right place to be exercised with that buyout feature and the inflation protection. The capping of the inflation can help save you big money. And another way you may have forgotten about the Mutual of Omaha policy is the spousal waiver of premium. It is a very inexpensive option and a way to make you look like a stellar person at the time of claim. So we have the base policy for a couple of $4,300. To add the spouse waiver only costs, just under $90 a year to add that. And what that does for your client is when one of them goes on claim and is on waiver of premium, their spouse is also on waiver of premium. There is a 10-year stipulation to this qualification period. The policies need to be in effect for at least 10 years before that waiver kicks in. But again, it could potentially at claim time make you go from being a hero to being a legend. So keep that in mind. Married couples, always take a look at adding that rider. It's a 2% add, worth every penny of it. So we covered the downgrade, the upgrade, the caps, the spouse waiver, international benefit. We get asked about this all the time, and the international benefit of the policies being offered today in the marketplace with Mutual of Omaha is the strongest that's out there. With the mutual policy, you can consume the policy at face value in the U.S. territories, Canada, and the UK. So if you're working with people up north, like in Bellingham, or across the country, close to the Canadian border, keep that in mind. Some people might want to go and retire back up into Canada, or even back over across the pond at the UK. Or maybe they want to go to some place, well, I don't know why you want to go to Puerto Rico right now, but Puerto Rico and Guam would be covered as well. Again, full face value. If you're outside of those three countries or territories, the reimbursement chassis now becomes an indemnity policy, and it will write you 12 months worth of checks for your full monthly benefit when you're declared ADL dependent or a cognitive issue overseas. It has to be an English language assessment, and the company reserves the right, even if you're here in the U.S. for that example, to request to have a recertification of that ADL dependence or the cognitive impairment. But again, it converts whatever your monthly nursing home benefit is at the time of claim from being a reimbursement amount to being a cash indemnity amount. So we've done the downgrades, we've done the upgrades, we've done the caps, we've hit on the joint waiver of premium, the strength of the international benefit. Another little forgotten little rider that you could potentially add to your policy is one of the return of premium options. It's the return of premium where it will return 3 times the monthly maximum benefit at death minus any claims they may have paid. So there's a 10-year qualification period for this rider as well. It is a very, very inexpensive return of premium rider. So it's always based upon what your maximum monthly benefit was when you bought the policy. So in an example we've used here, at the $5,000 per month benefit level, it would return $15,000 upon death, minus any claims the company may have paid out on your behalf to your named beneficiary or to your estate. You could view it as building in a little burial plan or a final expense plan to your long-term care solution for a client. So just keep that in mind as another option where you can add more value to the policy for your clients. Here's some contact information for us. You can order supplies, and give us a call anytime at our phone number here listed. Hang on a second, I'm going to pop out of here for a minute. Everybody knows how to reach us at 800-672-7202, I hope. or you can give us a look at our website to grab a form on a weekend at the www.whyaim.com. And then you can also download the illustration software at www.whyaim.com/ and type out the word software. Pretty easy to install, and it'll end up being a black and white Indian head icon on your desktop. So before I open up for questions, I'm going to pass control over to my compatriot here, Mike, who's kind of going to try to make you get into the proper mood for the weekend. So hang on here. Okay, Mike, you've got the control, buddy. Take us away.
All right. Thanks, Dave. As Dave said, we wanted to do something a little bit different, something that we haven't done before here to get everybody kind of in the right frame of mind going to the weekend. It's been a pretty stressful, I'd say probably last 6 months or so here in the good old US of A. We've had hurricanes, we've had fires, we've had just sort of generalized tumult and unrest and maybe even anger. And so before we do our Q&A here, we wanted to show you this video and hope that that you find it to be uplifting. The backstory here is this little 11-year-old girl, Tana Butterfield, has bopped down to the office of the school that she attends there in Utah to talk to this lady here, Jackie Alexander. And she's coming down because Jackie had called her and said that she had something that she needed to tell her. And I'll start the video here. And what you're going to see is Jackie tells her that after a long time of waiting, that the adoption for Tana and her two little sisters, who are 6 and 2, has finally been approved. The foster family that they've been living with for the last couple of years, it's been approved and formalized. And the mom wanted to call down to the school to let her know, because apparently little Tana had just been really stressed about whether this was going to get approved or not. And I actually picked this up on Twitter a couple of days ago, and it was just going crazy there, and we felt like it was just the kind of thing that might give you a little pickup here as we head into the weekend. So great little story. You can find it on the internet if you want to read and find out a little bit more about the backstory, kind of an uplifting thing we hope for you. So going to set that aside here and going to unmute folks, and we'll do some Q&A. As we always say, please, if you don't have any questions, mute yourself. Particularly if you're on a smartphone, because we get just a ton of background noise and such on those things, and we want to make sure and not be able to have to circle back and command mute everybody to get this done. So any questions on any of the things that Dave shared with you are five things you didn't know about custom solution, and then our bonus extra thing that we threw in there just for you here today. So any questions? And if you got questions on anything with Mutual of Omaha long-term care at all, we'd certainly be glad to take those as well. Okay, well, that sounds like a no. So.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. Again, we apologize for the potential confusion on the timing of the webinar today. We hope everybody learned. If you learn one good thing or new thing today, that's great. Our job is done for this week anyway. Keep an eye out for our webinar schedule. Actually, you can go on our website and you can sign up ahead of time before you receive an invitation. All of the webinars are scheduled out for the entire month of October up there. Feel free, you can click on it right there and get signed up if you find a topic that is interesting to you. If you have any questions, give us a holler. We might be giving you guys a call. That's a follow-up to being on our webinar today, just to see if there's anything we can do for you on a one-on-one type basis. But thanks again for taking the time to join us. On behalf of Mike and myself, have a great weekend. Take care. Don't hit end webinar if you haven't. I haven't. If you hit end webinar, you won't be able to get back in there, so just let it run.